Well, Luke, yeah, what does it mean for you to sign a professional contract with the Phoenix and such a long contract too?
Yeah, I mean it's an honour. I've grown up in Wellington my whole life, so it's an amazing feeling to have signed and to have signed for such a long time. I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, were you surprised at the length of contracts offered to you?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting such a long contract. It shows good faith in me, I think, and means that there's a lot of time to develop and to learn from the amazing staff.
Chief, can you just explain why you bought a 4-year deal? Because it's an unprecedented move for the Phoenix to offer a player such a long deal.
Well, I think it signals the forward planning of the club, and it's just an evolution of a lot of planning that Gilly, the board, football committee, we've all put into place. We believe now that it's the right time to invest in the future, give a lot of these young Kiwi boys that are coming through the academy an opportunity, and we feel like we have the confidence that Lukas fits a profile that he can do very well at a high level for a sustained period. So for me, it was a no-brainer to give a 4-year contract.
Yeah, Lukas, you'll probably be the tallest player on the team. You're still pretty young though, still more growing to do there.
Yeah, I think I've reached my limit in terms of height. Didn't quite crack the 2 metre mark, but no, yeah, probably the tallest I will be.
Yeah. And obviously you mentioned a twin brother. How did he end up becoming a goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think it was a matter of when we were younger, and someone's got to go in goal to take shots against, and he kind of volunteered himself and found he was quite good in there, and just kind of stuck there, and yeah.
What's the academy environment like here, Lukas, in terms of preparing players? Do you feel when you're in there that the first team is a reachable step for the players in the academy system?
Yeah, I think with Chris Greenacre being the coach, he's really put high standards on us to help ease that step into the first team, and I think the way his professionalism and detail and training has really helped the team and get us closer to that goal.
You're Wellington boy, so did you used to watch the team growing up?
Yeah, had a few season passes back in the day and would watch on the TV when I could, yeah.
Any particular players who stand out that you used to enjoy watching?
The likes of Andrew Durante and Ben Sigmund, those types of players, always great to watch.
I was going to ask you about 18. You're going to be wearing shirt 18. That was Siggy's old shirt.
Yeah.
Were you aware that you were taking that was the number he used to wear?
Yeah. There's a lot of great players who've worn the number 4, so there's some standard to live up to. So I'm looking forward to it, and yeah.
Chiefy, what have you seen from Lukas since his time at the academy up to now?
Well, I see great potential. For me, the big thing is I've spent a lot of time with him over the last couple of years. He's been coming up and down, and for me, the main thing is that he's actually a really good kid, rooted in good values from good parents, and what I see off the park as well is the ultimate pro. He takes his game very seriously, his preparation very seriously, and you can see that in his performances. He's very consistent, which I believe is a cornerstone of any really good player coming through.
And A-League is obviously a step up in physicality, the game overall. What does he need to do in the build up to the season to be ready?
Well, I think he just needs to be committed to training. He needs to take all the information that we provide, and I just want him to be himself, because that's what got him here. So I really want to aid that along. And I think the way he's going at the moment, we've had testing over the last couple of weeks, he's been flying. Probably, to be fair, one of the top performers at the moment. So for me, that's a really good signal of his mindset and where he can potentially go.
And Lukas, just putting that back on you, what do you want to improve on leading up to the season?
Yeah, I think just kind of getting more used to the speed and the level of play. I think it's a decent jump from playing in the Central League, but I think it's one that can be adapted to rather quickly, especially under the staff and the players that we've got. And I can learn a lot from the experienced players and from the staff.
And how has it been, getting involved with the experienced players, people you've probably looked up to as you've been playing? Has that been pretty cool? Yeah,
it's really good. They're all very helpful, and they all are willing to teach me anything if need be, or giving me pointers during the training.
Lukas, how would you describe yourself as a defender?
I'd like to think I'm more of a ball-playing defender. I think some of my stronger attributes are like playing out, and I think my versatility is could be utilised rather well. I think I'm able to play through the middle, at the back, or out wide if need be.
Chiefly 20 years ago, we wouldn't hear centre-backs in New Zealand talking like that. How has football in this country kind of changed, do you think, and what are you seeing in these younger players that are coming through?
Well, I see that there's a burning ambition to be like their role models, right? And their role models are the players in the EPL, Serie A, Bundesliga. But also over the last 20 years, there's a higher expectation across football in general that the game is going to a certain way with more, more focus on technically gifted players that can play out, and it comes to a more philosophical question of trying to keep the ball and being proactive and all those things around it. So, no, I think it's great that we sit here, with a young Kiwi player that's come through the academy that is a ball player that can also play as a left back, as a six. But we've got a lot of boys in the academy like that, and hopefully those boys can also get an opportunity to potentially shine like Lukas.
Lukas, you've been given a 4-year contract. I believe it's the longest in the club's history. I guess, how do you manage that kind of expectation moving forward as a player and kind of put it to a side and just focus on the football?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I kind of try and disconnect as much and just focus on the football, and I just go into training every day and give it all, and then let the development take care of itself and just ask questions when needed and just focus on myself.
Chief, because I've seen quite a lot of young players being announced as signings at various clubs in the last few weeks or so. Is there a bit of a shift in the A-League, do you think, to go, okay, we should be investing in our young players? And even, I guess, you look at the Mariners, they won the league with a young squad, lots of homegrown players. Is that a trend developing across the league?
I would say so. I think the league is recognising that the value in young players, and that sometimes the criticism is throughout the league that there's a bit of a recycled element of players moving from club to club, where a lot of these younger kids that could come through, if not at the same level or just a little bit under, so why not give those guys an opportunity? And the Mariners are a good model moving forward for a lot of clubs, giving opportunity to boys that are in that young age group that didn't get opportunity. I mean, you look at Triantis that he's moved to Sunderland, right? He was at Wanderers for a long time, wasn't given an opportunity. He made the right move to Mariners, and the rest is history. So I think it's sustainable as well, investing in these younger players. I think as well the coaching needs to also bridge that gap, and there needs to be an emphasis on coaches that are able to develop those younger players into the first team, and then I think that's a fuel for success, for longevity for the league. And I think also the fact that you're getting $1 million deals off these players is a great incentive for the club.
And
off the club, sorry.
Yeah, I think that's player 16 now. What are sort of the next positions you're targeting in terms of recruitment?
Well, I think this Australia Cup is going to be an opportunity for a lot of these younger players to stake a claim for a position. And I've been very upfront from day one that I want to give the younger players a go. I want to give New Zealand players an opportunity to show what they have. And then from that, I'll make my decision. There's still 3 months to go up until the start of the league. So I've got plenty of time to make the right decision, not a hurried decision.
And still after an import centre back, is that still where you're taking that?
Yeah, potentially. But, things change as well. Some of these young guys, like Lukas, like Finn, they're coming through the first team. It's also an opportunity for them to show me what we have, what they have, and then if I feel like that they have the value right now to start, I'll start them. I've got no problem doing that. So that might change my thinking, and we can allot that money somewhere else.
Chief, there's hundreds of young players, right? You must see hundreds. What are the things that you look for that you think, okay, he might have what I need here in a first team environment? Not just Lukas, but our players.
Yeah, I think players in general are orientated more towards that line. I think is more towards positions, but fundamentally under all of those attributes that you're looking for. You're looking for whether or not there's a bit of resilience under the surface, right? And how they deal with the heartache of not starting, not playing, not having minutes, how they do extras on the pitch. So you're really observing their intent, how they behave, and then from that, if you see that, okay, all right, they get kicked in the guts and they bounce back, and they're still there and they're still motivated and they drive through, which is ultimately professionalism, then you go, all right, maybe there's something there. And look, my experience is now with these players coming through, it's often a war of attrition, right? You get a lot of good players that come through. Everyone tells you this player is going to be a good player, that player is going to be a good player. But when they get to 19, 20, a lot of them jump off that train because they can't handle their ups and downs. So you just need to stay patient if you're a young player, and just show that if you really want it, you want it, right? And you stay in as long as you can. And once the opportunity comes, you hopefully grab it with two hands.
Oscar Zapata's back.
Thankfully.
Has there been any interest in him?
There's been interest for a striker that scored 14 plus goals in a season. There's always going to be interest.
So why is he still here?
I think he just loves the coach. So no, I think other teams have come in for him. I think potentially maybe not aligned with what the club expects. So it's just there's also still a bit of a window now from in Europe. So those things can change, but there's always going to be interest in a player like Oscar.
Yeah, but from his point of view, there's been he didn't want to stay back in Europe to hold out for an offer. Like, he's happy to just get.
I think he's committed to being here. I saw him the other day. He's buzzing to be back. He had a great time in Europe on his holidays. He was able to take his family back home and share some time with his friends. So for me, he's the ultimate professional. He comes in every day, works very hard. He does more extras than any of the other players in our team. He just he has a burning desire to do well. And if he stays here for this season, I think he's going to be an even better player than what he was last year.
Because I guess for you as coach, you want to keep a hold of a player who can score some goals.
I'd love to keep all our players. Our players are all the ones that I've kept are all the ones that hold the values that I want in all my players. So for me, if he was to go, it would be a massive chunk of that team that would be missing. We'd obviously have to recruit, and I have the confidence that we can bring in a good player, but he'd be a big loss.
Yeah. Are you expecting to do more deals before that game ends?
At this moment, I would say probably not. As I mentioned before, my focus is to give these younger players an opportunity, and then there might be one or two that actually cement positions that I otherwise think that I don't need to look elsewhere, which is great for us. And then that means that I can focus more resources at areas that I think need to be addressed.